When people attack the Bible, usually they quote the Old Testament. Today, I want to show you that the New Testament is full of shit too, and it is not to be taken seriously. It's fair to say that the Bible is not holier than the Harry Potter books. Both have all or almost all their characters fictional. Both have magic happening all the time. Both have talking snakes, unicorns, giants, death, and both are fictional. But one is actually fun to read. Yeah, the one that doesn't claim to be real. The Testament was compiled by a group of Roman pagans looking to unify the empire. We know how that turned up. Nearly 80% of the things attributed to Jesus were fabricated by 2nd century Christians. This is a proof that we should not take the Bible literally. It just didn't happen. Next are some examples of how the New Testament has. Okay, so most of Jesus' words in the Bible are bogus. He didn't say them, it was fabrication. Who says this? A bunch of Bible scholars who really study this shit, okay? According to these scholars, Jesus never claimed to be the Messiah and didn't predict the end of the world, as so a lot of people think. Jesus probably did share a symbolic last meal with his disciples, but all the words about bread to flesh and blood to wine, that's completely bullshit. The Lord's Prayer, when the Bible says Jesus composed, also was complied by Christian after his death. He did not write it. A lot of people think Jesus was actually literate. Okay, moving on. Jesus was an apocalyptic visionary as much as he was a social revolutionary. At these meetings, the scholar examined all the 4 Bible Gospels, as well as the 5th ancient document, the Gospel of Thomas, which was discovered in Egypt in 1945. Okay? Jesus left no written text and none of the original Gospels have survived, so what they really did was examine a lot of copies of these Gospels. They counted some of Jesus' sayings because of the versions conflicted sharply from one document to another, while their saying appearing to be meaning additions by church leaders after the death of Jesus. Some were eliminated because they did not fit properly into the canonics. They did not fit properly? That's completely bullshit. He seems to be a social radical and had a good sense of humor. Okay, maybe he was a good person, but actually it was not even near to godlike, okay? So, really. And there's some other stuff, like when Jesus was crucified there was 3 hours of complete darkness and an earthquake and corpses walking the streets, yet there's not a single shred of evidence of this happening outside of the Gospels. Not a single shred of evidence, not a document, not a mention, not even a picture on a base, nothing, okay? This is probably because the spin meisters who wrote the Gospels had no impact on him except what grew to legendary proportions after several decades of oral history telling. The man, if he existed, was a nobody. It's what was written about him combined with the brutal efforts of church fabricators that made him so famous. I mean, it's like if someone started writing about your neighbor or whatever. Fortunately, centuries of Christian book burning cannot erase the stars, but the Gospels through the eyes of an astrologer, not astronomer, an astrologer, the one that gives you horoscopes and that shit. We can understand why the Gospels follow the same story outline. The tale of Jesus takes place within the zodiac year. By breaking down the Gospels according to each of the 12 zodiac constellations, we can track Jesus as the sun through a reference to each motive that his constellations correspond to. I mean, it was only the knowing of astrology in the era. If it were the real deal, at least, I don't know, maybe sleep the theory of relativity or Kepler's law of planetary movement or whatever, it wouldn't hurt to credibility. The Star of Bethlehem is symbolized by the brightest star in the widest sky, Sirius, in the constellation of Canis Major. For Egyptians, this marked the beginning of their new year. Even Christians at the beginning thought that Jesus was a deceiver. It's clearly stated here. Okay, let's talk about Matthew and the bullshit he has to offer. So, right. First of all, if you read the chapter 5 of Matthew, Jesus says that he's not come to destroy the law or the prophets, he comes to fulfill. And then, I forgot the name of this reverend guy that always uses that if you see a woman with lust, you committed adultery. Well, read along, and actually what it says after that is that if your eye offends someone or if your hand offends someone, you should pluck it out, you should cut it off. Real contradictions. Jesus said that all the people will come and you'll understand that they're a false Messiah because they make miracles. Acts says that people that make miracles, for example Jesus, are sent by God. So, which is it, man? Hardcore creationists ask me all the time, do you believe that everything came from nothing? I simply smile and respond to them, do you believe that people can actually duplicate fish? Okay, we evolutionists actually don't believe that matter came from nothing. We believe that it was condensed in a tiny little spot and then eventually it exploded, making the Big Bang, making laws of physics possible. Time, space, matter, and energy are now scattered all around the universe. You should really reconsider this as your God.